What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to come to the defense of Morbius just a little bit in terms of its insanely low Rotten Tomatoes scores versus now we were starting to get the audience scores for it. Now, I want to make it clear, and maybe I've done it by the title, maybe not. I haven't seen the movie yet, so this is like, there's this specific criteria I'm following here, right? Defending opinions of people, defending review scores, both bad and good, without actually seeing the movie. So what do I mean? Well, I guess boiling it down, I truly doubt this movie is a 15 on Rotten Tomatoes. 15% based off of 147 reviews. Now, the audience score is starting to come in, and it's a 64% rating, audience score, 500 plus verified, ratings to it. So the audience score is actually pretty darn, 64 isn't like, obviously I think a lot of movies that you consider like elite of the elite would probably have like 80 or higher. But here's the thing, and it's something that I've talked about quite often. We can bag on Morbius. Look, I had a lot of fun with that meme of the person who broke into the car because he had 2 Morbius tickets. They broke in, they shattered the window, and they left 2 more Morbius tickets, so now they had 4. I mean, they're very funny. Okay, they're very funny. And again, I really don't have any stake in this because, as I've said, like I'll see it. I'll see this movie, but I was never going to pay money for it, right? I was never actually going to go to the theaters and pay money. So whatever this whole saga is, it's fun for entertainment. It's fun for like video making stuff, but it's not affecting like my day-to-day life. Do you know what I mean? But it's still the same rules should apply. And this is something I try to be, and I don't think everybody in the same like circle as me or people that kind of criticize critics, they don't really hold the same standards, I think, all the time. And not to call it any specific names, but I just think that's true. When you have a movie that does this bad, sure, you can say, holy God, like what I did. Holy God, the scores are low. Like that's an incredibly low score. But to give like credibility to reviewers, well, aren't we the ones that are saying that reviewers should never be taken seriously in the first place? Yes, that's kind of where I've always stood. So while it does have a 15, and while you could maybe read some things into that, I think overall you still need to make the decision for yourself, right? Isn't that fair, right? That maybe the movie isn't a 15, or just because it got a 15 doesn't mean necessarily that it's a 15. Now, 15, like, that's so low. That is so incredibly low. Again, though, it does show the flaws, I still think, in Rotten Tomatoes. Where, remember, the Rotten Tomatoes is like, if you give the movie a good score, it's just a good score. So, like, if you gave the movie a 3 out of 5, that would be considered good. So it would be, so the percentage would move above, let's say, 50, right? So a 15% just means that most critics gave this movie a bad score, quote unquote, like a bad, you know what I mean? And so, some of them could have given it a 4 out of 10. Some of them could have given it a 3 out of 10. Some of them could have given it a 4.5 out of 10, right? Or like a 2 stars out of 5. But all of those would be considered bad, so that it drops the overall this score. So this 15% just means most people didn't like it, and the variety of the not liking it, that depends. That depends on the person. Now, again, I think what's funny is, and you could say maybe there's like positive review bombings going on. I think that's definitely possible. But specifically, what I do actually respect about Rotten Tomatoes, okay, on the other side of things, is the whole verifying. I think it's smart. Verify you saw the movie and you can leave a review score. Now, if you saw it and you have like a vendetta against it and you want to give it a 0 out of 10, or you can do that, right? But at least you have to show that you did, in fact, see the movie. And just the fact of it's the difference between a 15% and what, like I said, 64, like that is a gigantic. Now, again, a 64 is not spectacular. It's not something to win. Not that I care about awards. It's not going to win an award or anything, right? But I mean, it is a drastic. It's half. It's half of the entire review metric, right? 5 out of 10. That's the difference between critics and fans. And honestly, so I didn't see this. Literally right before I clicked on this video, or I hit record, I checked the audience score. I didn't even know the audience score was up. I actually was just going to defend that maybe it's not an actual 15 out of 100, right? That's what I was intending to do. But then I saw that, and I think that just kind of makes a point. But I had some people, I should say, that follow me that have written to me on Twitter and all this stuff that have said, like, hey, it's not actually a bad movie. Now, the thing is, again, like, that's great, and it's opinionated. I have seen, and one thing I was kind of, like, waiting to see, or I was interested in seeing, right, we just talked about this a few days ago, was, okay, well, when when normal, average, everyday people go see this movie, what are they going to be saying about it? And then you started to see a couple people say, hey, it's like Venom. If you liked Venom, which critics didn't, and a lot, and some people didn't too. I'm not saying like, you know, it was just critics. There are definitely, I've seen many people online that hate Venom 1 and 2. Fine. But I saw people online say, hey, if you liked Venom, this is pretty, you know what I mean? You may like this one too. It's a little bit different, but it's a little bit the same. And that's just what it is. So once I started seeing that, I was like, oh, I wonder if this could be a movie that's got that divide between critics and fans, because Venom and Venom 2 really had that, I think. And then I had people, you know, reach out to me, direct messages, all that stuff, saying, hey, I actually kind of liked it. It's maybe better than Venom for me. So this is interesting. This is interesting how this is happening. I don't think a 64 is like spectacular, but again, like, they're just numbers. They're just numbers. Now, again, does it change my mindset on it? No. I'll see it eventually, and when I do see it, maybe I actually end up liking it, because it's like, ooh, this is not a 15. In fact, what I think honestly is going to happen, to be quite honest with you, I don't think this movie is going to do like spectacular box office wise. Okay, I just don't. I really don't. But maybe it does, because like Venom crushed it. But Venom, just the name Venom, what Venom is versus Morbius, I just don't think this movie's going to make a lot of money, okay? But what I do think could potentially happen is anybody kind of in tune with the internet that has seen that 15, right? Now, again, like, you can trust critics, you can not trust critics, you can be skeptical on them, whatever, but you see that 15 out of 100, okay, 1.5 out of 10, and in your head, you're like, this movie is one of the worst films ever created. And I mean, and again, there's actual people saying that too, besides just critics. I have seen normal, average, everyday people saying this movie is god-awful. So again, it's just your opinion. But you see all that, and then you go to the movie, and maybe the movie actually is a lot better than that, right? Because your expectation is so low, and then the movie is actually not bad, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's interesting how it's gone, and it'll be interesting to see after a couple days, maybe this weekend, maybe on Monday, what is that audience score then? Compare, is it going to be, will it drop? Will it get kind of like to a 50? You know, what is it going to be? I mean, it's not the first time this kind of stuff has happened. I was looking, my favorite franchise of all time in Pirates of the Caribbean, I was looking for fun, you know, the difference between fan scores and movie scores, and the last Pirates got a 30 from critics and got a 60 from fans. So again, it doubled the amount of, like, literally the score doubled from critics to fans. So I don't think it's impossible. I mean, if this movie even gets 45% from fans, that's not good. That's still, I would say, overall saying, hey, this is a below average movie, okay, in the grand scheme of things, but it's not a 15. You know what I mean? It's like a 40 or 45. And right now it's a 64. Right now it would be considered, oh, this movie's actually pretty okay. So we'll see how it goes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you're all subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. And I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.